never thought betrayal could taste like spiced wine and applause. Marisol pressed her trembling hands into her lap as the gallery lights danced on her sister's newest paintings. She wore the only evening gown she could afford, satin skirts hiding threadbare seams. Beside her, her son Malik sat in an ill-fitting tuxedo jacket she'd borrowed, swinging his legs and whispering, "Do you think they'll like the art, Mama?" She forced a smile, wanting to believe tonight was a welcome back into the family. Yet, every polished face around the room felt like a mirror reflecting her own doubts. The gallery buzzed with polite chatter, critics nodding, influencers snapping selfies, voices drifting like distant waves. Marisol had driven 2 hours from her cramped studio, juggling cafe shifts and babysitting gigs just to afford this ticket. Malik's big brown eyes held hope. He thought this night would mean acceptance for them both. Marisol had dreamed of a hug from her mother or a nod from her golden child sister, Alina. Instead, every glance felt like a blade. When the host tapped the mic and called Alina forward, Marisol braced herself. She gripped Malik's hand under the linen tablecloth, praying for kindness. She should have known better. Alina stepped forward in ivory lace, her flawless smile shining brighter than the gallery lights. Cameras flashed like stars as she raised her flute of champagne. Marisol watched, pulse quickening, hoping for gentle words about resilience, sacrifice, strength. "Thank you all for coming to celebrate my debut," Alina began. Her voice was sweet, smooth as frosting. Malik leaned forward in excitement. Marisol squeezed his hand, smiling nervously. Then Alina's smile sharpened. She said, "And of course, a shout out to my big sister," she said, eyes glittering. Marisol has shown incredible bravery raising her child alone. Unwanted and unsupported, she still managed to show up tonight, like a clearance sale item nobody really wants. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Some guests tittered uneasily, others clinked glasses and laughed harder. Marisol felt her chest tighten. Malik's small hand trembled. He whispered, "Why she say that, Mama?" Marisol blinked back tears. Before she could answer, their mother at the VIP table added, "Yes, like a second-hand mirror, still pretty but clearly used." The laughter grew cruel. Marisol pressed her eyes shut, her heart cracking as she saw Malik's confusion and pain. Marisol drew a shuddering breath, determined not to shatter. She straightened her spine and met her sister's gaze head-on. Malik buried his face against her shoulder, quiet sobs shaking his frame. Marisol's mind raced. She wanted to gather him in her arms and flee into the night. Just then, the gallery doors slid open. Tristan, Alina's fiancé, paused in the entryway, his silhouette backlit by the lobby lights. Compliments and laughter stopped as he took in the scene. Mocking faces, splintered smiles, a little boy crying in his mother's arms. He unbuttoned his coat, his step deliberate as he crossed the polished floor. Marisol caught her breath. She glanced at Malik, whose tears glistened in the dim light. Tristan's presence felt like a shield, a promise that someone saw the cruelty. The crowd turned with him, the hum of conversation dying. Marisol dared to hope. Tristan reached their table, moving with measured calm. He did not look at Alina or their mother, but at Marisol and Malik. The hush settled like a blanket over the gallery. He picked up the abandoned mic, his fingers steady. "I'm not going to pretend this was a joke," he said, voice low but clear. The words cut the tension, stopping laughter mid-burst. Eyes flicked from Tristan to Marisol, then to the paintings on the walls. Marisol felt her chest tighten. Malik's small hand trembled. He sat taller, bravely facing the crowd. Malik peeked through fingers and met Tristan's gaze, finding comfort there. Tristan spoke of family, loyalty, tradition, respect. He called out the cruelty cloaked as humor. "I won't marry into a family that mocks its own," he said, voice firm. The gallery held its breath. Tristan stepped away from the table, mic in hand, standing between Marisol and the shocked guests. He told them that mocking someone's pain was not tradition, but cruelty. His tone was calm, but his disappointment burned clear. Marisol never asked for this stage. She is a remarkable mother and artist. You owe her respect. He spoke of parenting alone, of sacrifice and love. He smiled softly at Malik. Your mother is the strongest person here. A stunned silence followed. The crowd was frozen. Critics lowered pens, servers stopped moving, their mother's pearls glistened in awkward light. Alina's perfect composure cracked. No one applauded. No one cheered. The only sound was Malik's quiet sniffle. Marisol felt shame dissolve under Tristan's defense, replaced by something new, relief, pride, and a spark of joy. After Tristan's speech, Marisol stood, clutching Malik's hand. The gallery doors stood open behind Tristan, light spilling through. She looked at the silent crowd, then at Alina, whose face had gone pale. Their mother's lips quivered, but no words came. Marisol took a step forward. She realized she no longer feared their judgment. She felt Malik's eyes on her, trusting and wide. "Come on, sweetheart," she whispered. He nodded, wiping his nose. As they walked out, a single gust of cool night air greeted them. Guests parted, uncertain. A hush followed Marisol into the lobby. She didn't look back, only felt the weight lift from her chest. In the lobby, Tristan caught up and placed a hand on Malik's shoulder. "Let's get you home," he said quietly. Malik smiled through tears. Marisol followed them to the elevator, feeling gratitude and power. She realized that walking away on her own terms was her victory. At home, the city lights blinked through the apartment window. Marisol tucked Malik into bed, brushing his hair back. He asked, "Mama, will they be okay?" She sat by his pillow, heart full. "They'll learn," she said softly. "Tonight, you saw how love stands up." Malik yawned and closed his eyes, clutching his favorite toy. Marisol kissed his forehead and lingered. She had survived the gallery, the humiliation, the laughter. In the morning, her phone buzzed. Messages from friends and strangers praising Tristan's words. Someone had posted the video online, over 50,000 views and counting. Comments poured in, support for Marisol, outrage at Alina, admiration for Tristan. Marisol read a few and smiled. She didn't cry. She felt still. That afternoon, a small bouquet of wildflowers arrived without a note. The card read simply, "To the Lioness." Marisol held the flowers to her chest, breath-catching. She knew who sent them. The apartment felt brighter. She placed the bouquet on her kitchen table and brewed tea. Later, Alina called. She tried to frame Tristan's defense as drama, a misunderstanding. Marisol listened for 30 seconds, then replied, "I'm not your scapegoat anymore," and hung up. Her voice was calm, final. She felt lighter. Marisol returned to her life with renewed confidence. At the cafe, regulars noticed her straighter posture. Malik asked more questions about courage and kindness. She taught him that standing up didn't always mean raising your voice, it meant choosing your dignity. Her paintings sold quicker now, clients inspired by her story. The local paper ran an article praising her strength. She smiled at his accomplishment. Weeks later, Malik practiced giving speeches to his action figures, his little voice bold. Marisol watched, proud tears in her eyes. She realized her standing up taught him bravery. One evening, Tristan visited with takeout. They shared a simple dinner, laughter filling the small apartment. No grand gestures, just kindness. At the gallery, Alina's paintings still hung. This time people passed them quietly, heads bowed. Her star had dimmed. Marisol joined an art collective, mentoring other single mothers. She used her story to uplift. Malik's school play cast him as the hero. Marisol cheered from the front row, heart soaring. At home, Marisol found a note ticking under her door. "Keep shining." No signature. She smiled. Months passed. Marisol applied for a gallery of her own. She sketched plans late at night, Malik asleep beside her. Her mother sent a birthday card, blank inside. Marisol kept it on the fridge as a reminder. Malik won an art contest at school. His drawing of a lioness and cub hung in the hallway. Marisol cried real tears then. Tristan proposed, not in a gallery or on stage, but at the cafe counter where they first met. Simple ring, simple words. Marisol said yes. They married in the same small ceremony Marisol once dreamed of. Few guests, family absent. Malik walked her down the aisle. Alina attended, silent apology in her eyes. Marisol nodded politely. No hug, but peace. Their wedding art show featured Marisol's work, vibrant, hopeful. Guests praised her vision. At night, Marisol and Tristan sat on the balcony, Malik asleep inside. City lights stretched endlessly. Marisol reflected on humiliation and triumph. She realized true family could be chosen. Years later, Malik, now a fine-hearted young man, stood before her gallery, calling her superhero. Marisol smiled, head held high. She had reclaimed her dignity, and together they forged a new legacy, one built
In the ignition, I did it for both of us. Boundaries don't break families, they rebuild them. As we drove away, the house faded into darkness, and ahead lay a path we chose together, new, honest, and free.
on love, bravery, and the power to stand when it mattered most.